Okay, so hi everybody. I hope you are all comfortable and very well. So hi again. Today is Wednesday, yeah. So as introduced last week, we are starting the first part of our first historical series with the fascinating story of Afonso Henriques, the first king of Portugal, and probably one of the best known kings. Okay? So, I didn't say that in the introduction, but very modestly, what we're trying to do here is to inspire, educate, and entertain, all those three together. Okay, I can try inspire, educate, entertain. We'll see, unless I start singing. But no, don't worry, I won't. No, but more seriously, would be great that at the end of those videos you put your comments. I probably will say things which are not exactly correct. I mean, in the introduction last week, I think I said Portugal instead of Spain in one of my comments. But please do comment. I mean, correct me or add anything here that you know. I mean, we want to enrich those videos. I mean, those videos are really basic historical information that people will know or not know. But I mean, I'm not an expert. But I love history, and I'm actually starting to really enjoy counting it. So really, I hope that you participate, you join, and you leave your comments, okay? All right, so first part of the series about the first king of Portugal. The series is more broadly about, the birth and the consolidation of the kingdom of Portugal. There are 3 series, then we'll have a special about the Order of Christ, which I think is a fascinating story, all happening at the same time. Okay. So Afonso Henriques, who was he? Well, he declared himself Portugal's first king in 1139, as mentioned last week. You have to remember that in the 11th and 12th centuries, as the Moorish power who had invaded the peninsula was in decline. Portugal, as it was known by then, was just a small county of the Kingdom of Leon and Castile, okay? Centered around the Douro River, very much in the north of the actual Spain and Portugal. And that county of Portugal became independent when Afonso, the Count of Portugal, defeated the Moors at Urique in 1139. And that was the independence was officially recognized by the Kingdom of Leon and Castile at the Treaty of Zamora in 1147, so almost 8 years later. And actually, if you look at the map of Portugal, I've got one here, but I don't think it will look great on the video. All of what we know today of Spain and Portugal up to the river Douro, okay, you've got Porto now with the river Douro, very much to the north. Everything in Spain and Portugal up to there was a Moorish kingdom. He was Muslim, he was invaded. Spain and Portugal, which we call now Spain and Portugal, were very, very small territories and limited to the north of the peninsula. These territories were called condado or counties. Okay, they were not countries; they were small territories, counties. So actually, how did that started? Well, in 711, okay, the Muslims from North Africa invaded the Iberian Peninsula, so what we know Spain of today as Spain and Portugal. And that peninsula became a province of the Caliphate of Damascus, which is quite interesting with everything which is happening at the moment. In 756, Abd al-Rahman established the independent kingdom of Al-Andalus, the Andalusia, with its capital Cordoba becoming one of the world's greatest centers of culture at that time. Okay, and the Moorish, the Muslim control of the region, remained virtually undisputed for the next 300 years, until the small Christian kingdom in the north of the peninsula began what became to be known as the Reconquest under Afonso Sage, au Bravo, the Brave, King of Leon and Castile, and he made himself emperor from 1089 to 1109. He was the grandfather of Afonso Henriques, the first king of Portugal. Okay. So these little Catholic kingdoms, there were 5. There was Galiza to the northwest of Spain, Galiza with Santiago de Compostela. Just underneath you had Portugal, which was really a small territory up to Coimbra, even not Coimbra, Then there was to the north Leon, Castile, Navarre, Aragon, and Catalonia to the east. Okay, east, north. So all those kingdoms, all those 5 small counties, all those counties spread from Santiago de Compostela to the west to Barcelona to the north of the actual Portugal and Spain. Okay, so you have to imagine the whole north from the west to the east of Spain and Portugal now, and then just up to the Douro, it was all Moorish. Okay. So interesting to know here that the Reconquest was given the status of crusade by the then Pope. Lisbon was taken back from the Moors a little bit later in 1147 when Afonso Henriques, now king of Portugal, started to reconquer all the territories up to the south. Okay. And at that time was already the aid of English troops bound for the Holy Land. So they were on their way to Jerusalem for the Crusades. So you must, when coming here in Lisbon, go to Sintra. I mean, this is one of the activities we are organizing for you. And you need to visit the Castelo dos Mouros. So in Sintra, you've got the Castelo de Mouros, and then you've got the Palacio da Pena, that we'll talk about it in a further series. But the Castelo dos Mouros was one of the Moors' fortress taken over and rebuilt by the Christians. So it's beautiful. It's a beautiful place in the Serra de Sintra. But if you go on the website lisbonnaturally.com, we are talking about it. So it is when Afonso Henriques defeated the Moors in Urique in 1139 that he declared himself king of Portugal. Not anymore Portugal, but Portugal, and declare independence from the powerful kingdom of Leon and Castile. That was the first step. That was the independence. But as you will see, it was a very fragile independence for many years to come. The origin of the Battle of Urique is, Afonso anxiety at the Muslim forces' incursion in the southern frontier hastened his negotiation with Afonso VII, so he was not Afonso Sage anymore, he was Afonso VII of Leon, of freeing his troops to deal with the Muslim attacks. Here, historians are divided as to the exact location of the battle, because at the time the name Urique designated a large area south of Beja. So if you look at the map of Portugal, you will see Beja is in the center of Portugal, in the Alentejo, a little bit further down of Lisbon. But the great distance that separated Urique from the Christian lines further north has led some historians to suggest that various other localities in central Portugal, because it would have been very difficult for the then Count of Portugal to go all the way south to battle 5 Moorish kings. Yeah. So one plausible alternative is Villa Shah de Ourique, located some 10 miles from Santarém, and Santarém is very, very close to Lisbon. So this battle of Ourique is sometimes referred to as the miracle of Ourique because of the fact that the Christian Portuguese forces were strongly, they were completely outnumbered. But the Muslim armies were weakened by internal leadership problems, which led to Afonso's victory and subsequently his proclamation as King of the Portuguese, as Afonso I, with the support from his troops, of course, vanquishing and slaying, so legend says, 5 Moorish kings. Okay. So that was the start of the Kingdom of Portugal. So away from the Kingdom of Leon and Castile, very powerful. But that was not the end. They were. You will see in the next series. They had to consolidate this independence. So next week we'll tell you more about the personality of Henrique's mother, the Queen Teresa, a Rainha Teresa. For me, one of the strongest personalities of Portugal history, but really she's not that well known at all, but she's such a character. It's amazing. So that's it for this week. Don't forget to like the video, leave your comments please, and add anything you make correction, talk about other episodes of that period. I really would like to have interaction, and in subsequent episodes I can talk about those comments, and that will enrich really all these little videos. Subscribe, of course, to the channel if you haven't already done. By doing that, it's just that you will receive reminders once a new video has been uploaded. So thanks for your interest and loyalty. Subscribe, share, and stay tuned, and visit our website, lisbonnaturally.com. Look at the activities, book your stay. You can book for in the next 3 months, but really take the opportunity, come and visit Lisbon. You will not regret it. It's an amazing city, first because of the history, but also today, the climate, the people, the food, everything. Look at the website, you will see. Okay? So that's it really. I hope to see you next week on Wednesday to continue this series. We'll have the second part of the story of the first king of Portugal and the consolidation of that kingdom. Okay? Thanks, and see you next week and probably before, okay? Thanks a lot. Bye.